Have you been thinking of adding a furry member to your family? You've gone out and gotten all the necessary items to settle Fido into his new home. You've gotten them their food, their bowls, their chew toys, and snacks. But have you remembered to visit your vet for a checkup, vaccinations, and recommendation for parasite disease prevention? Wait, I can hear you thinking, what is a parasitic disease? A parasitic disease is a disease that's caused by a living being being infected by a parasite. A parasite can be a single-celled organism or the size of a worm, and how they survive is by feeding off another creature for sustenance. What type of parasitic disease could infect your new pupper, and what could they contract? Well, one instance of a parasitic disease your new doggo could get is called heartworms. Heartworms is a parasitic disease spread by mosquito bites. Areas that have climate that mosquitoes are prevalent and annoying pests are 100% more likely to infect an animal. Heartworm is not contagious though. The only way for your new woofer to contract a heartworm's parasite is by the bite of a mosquito. Once the tiny vampire bug has bitten an animal, they will leave an infected heartworm larvae, which will migrate from the bite wound to the heart and blood vessels of the lungs. The process of this migration can take approximately 6 months. During this time, a heartworm can potentially grow up to 12 inches. Now, let's just stop and think about that for 1 second. 12 inches. I know what you're thinking. It's summery, it might rain. If my new doggo gets bitten by a mosquito, how will I know if they're infected? When it comes to the symptoms of heartworms, there are 3 main classifications to look out for. The first classification for heartworms infection may have minimal symptoms that will appear to an owner besides an occasional cough. Class 2 of heartworm symptoms will show predominant cough as well as intolerance to exercise. Finally, Class 3 of heartworm symptoms will be the most severe demonstration of the infection. The animal will become intolerant to exercise, have fainting spells, and in severely affected animals, they will have right-sided chronic heart failure. Potentially, after an animal receives a physical examination, other symptoms may appear such as extremely rapid heartbeat, high blood pressure, and labored breathing. If you are at all concerned that your fluffer may be infected, it is important to know how to get heartworm diagnosed. First and foremost is to visit your local vet. The vet may have your pet sent for a procedure called an electrocardiograph. During this procedure, a vet will monitor the heart, which may reveal certain rhythm disturbances. During this process, it may be apparent that the right ventricle of the heart is enlarged. Additional tests may be conducted, which include serologic tests, where blood is taken that will look for female heartworm antigens, urine analysis, and x-rays, which may reveal enlargement in key arteries associated with heartworms. In the situation that your doggo friend has been infected, there are potential treatments available to help with their heartworm infections. One such treatment, your animal friend will be administered with a dose of adulticide designed to kill the adult heartworms. This will aid in eliminating microfilariae in the body and can be eliminated with a monthly prophylaxis, which can be easily administered at home. In cases that are much more severe, such as in puppers that may experience thromboembolic complications, hospitalization may be necessary. A surgical procedure may be the only option for an animal that has a high number of adult worms. Upon completion of the procedure, it will be recommended that your poor woofer's activity be severely restricted. This can mean that at least 4 to 6 weeks after administration of adulticide, they may need to be kept in a cage to limit their activity. It is also suggested dogs who are recovering from congestive heart failure receive a moderately restricted sodium diet. After treatment has been received, it should be important for an owner to take their pet to get an antigen test to check for continued presence of adult heartworms. If a test comes back positive after treatment, then another round of treatment may be prescribed by your vet. Depending on the pet's age and severity of the disease, it may not be overly affected by mild recurrent worm infestations. Now, I realize that none of this sounds pleasant and that all you want is to prevent this from happening to your dear fluffer. Well, there are some steps you can take for heartworm prevention. If you live in an area where buzzing blood cretins are prevalent, you should always visit your veterinarian first to consult on what options that are available. They may prescribe routine heartworm preventative, which can be administered in a variety of ways. It is important to note there is a number of medical preventatives that are highly effective and commonly used. It is possible for reinfestation to occur if a heartworm preventative is not regularly administered. Even if it is winter, the season of relief from pests, it is important to remember to still administer these to your doggo. Ultimately, it's important for you to visit your vet and receive the proper preventative measures prior to the onset of contraction of heartworm. As this pupper is a new addition to your family, it is important to keep them healthy. As they say, a healthy doggo is a happy doggo, and a happy doggo makes a home.